This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. This isn't the first time that I've talked about Macaulay Culkin. And no, I'm not making accusations against him or any of these celebrities, but I'm showing you the very odd repetition. Obviously, all the connections to Satanism. Macaulay Culkin, somebody who sells T-shirts on his website, who has shirts with the upside down pentagram. What a coincidence, right? Obviously, has very bizarre, abnormal behavior. Somebody who has his own podcast, Pushing Bunny Ears, which is another Illuminati symbol referencing MK Ultra mind control programming. But Macaulay Culkin did a show, or a Twitter show, I guess, during the Oscars. And I actually saw this after the fact, after I had already recorded my Oscars video, where I talked about how everybody who's on stage, people look and they're like, oh, what a performance. This person did the best this year in the acting category or the directing category. And I said, that's what people think when they see it. When I see it, I wonder what ritual sacrifices these people made when they win these awards. Like, who did they sacrifice this year? What type of disgusting, disturbing satanic rituals were they involved in? Because usually that's really how all this stuff goes, right? Who did they perform for privately? What did they do behind closed doors? So I found it interesting. Somebody messaged me and said, go look at his Twitter feed in regard to one of the actors, the guy who won for Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie about the band Queen. And get a load of the tweet from Macaulay Culkin. Rami Malek, I believe I'm saying his name correctly. If I'm not, well, then he could be disrespected. Rami Malek eats babies. There, I said it. Mac tweets the Oscars. Right? If you're familiar with my channel and you've watched my channel, how many times have I talked about these celebrities constantly referencing eating babies? Why is this some type of a joke in Hollywood?
I eat children.
How
old are you?
12.
12.
Oh, okay. Only to 10.
Only
Okay,
to
that's
10.
good.
Okay, we are safe.
Yeah.
That's good.
Children and pineapple.
The Rock talked about doing it. Other celebrities have talked about doing it as comedy, and then they hit the laugh box and the audience laughs and think that it's funny. Do you know how sick and depraved you have to be to think that that's funny? In addition to that, he has other bizarre tweets during the show, such as, if Bohemian Rhapsody wins Best Picture, it won't be the first time an alleged sex offender directed a Best Picture. Now, we all know Roman Polanski. I mean, you pretty much have to bet that all of these directors who win, just like all these actors, are, involved in being sex offenders. I mean, you'd have to assume that based on all of this stuff that we see and how these people are all connected and related to each other. They all have the same signs and symbols that they use in their Twitter posts, Instagram accounts, this clothing that they wear, constantly showing us Satanism, occult worship. And then they're always cracking jokes about pedophilia and about eating babies. This stuff is not just a random coincidence. This stuff is sick. But unfortunately, we live in a world where people can tweet stuff like that, and it's not a big deal. And when people like me talk about certain topics, it's a huge deal. And it shouldn't be allowed to be said. I mean, this is a guy who clearly was in Hollywood, pimped into Hollywood at a young age, okay? And I know people want to feel sympathy for these people, but you got to remember, yeah, they deserve sympathy, but a lot of these children who get abused at a young age end up becoming handlers. That's how this vicious cycle works and continues on. Yes, it's through trauma-based mind control. And yes, it's originally out of their hands, but at some point in time, they can stop this by not becoming abusers. Now, I'm not claiming that this person is. I'm not saying Macaulay Culkin is, right? But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure these things out if you look and you see all the repetition that they all use, okay? Then we have Macaulay Culkin inside doing his bath ritual, right? Remember, I talked about the bath baptism, the satanic baptism, why we always see it in these music videos. Here he is just laying in a bathtub in a suit, because that's normal. right? Things I'm doing instead of hosting the Oscars, bathing, right? Why is it all the same stuff? Why is it always referencing these things, right? Bathing, pentagrams, Baphomet worship. The guy's got bunny ears as his main gimmick now. Referencing sex offenders like it's a joke. Referencing eating children like it's a joke. Because the regular person out there hears that and they can't fathom that people would eat babies. Like, oh yeah, they're not literally eating babies. Nobody would do something like that. Even though you have, celebrities like Kim Kardashian talking about having vampire facials, how covering your face in blood is the fountain of youth. And they show it in all these shows like American Horror Story, eating their placenta, cannibalism, right? But no, it's not real because those shows are fiction. Meanwhile, everybody puts on the 9 o'clock news and believes what they see on there. And there couldn't be anything other than fiction on the news. From Trump all the way down, left and right, fiction. These people get away with this stuff in front of our face. They use sarcasm, they use art, they use the terms humor, and that's how they get away with it. Remember, the Bible talks about how all of this stuff will be revealed to us. Well, it is being revealed. The problem is that they're cheating at the game because they're using tactics like sarcasm and humor to deflect off of the severity, but they're playing by the rules, technically, right? Because you don't think do you think that God would allow this stuff to happen without them revealing these things, without prophecy being fulfilled? No, he wouldn't. And they're playing by the rules by revealing themselves, but they're playing between the lines with these things. There's nothing funny about jokes about eating babies. And I think it's pretty ridiculous, to be honest with you. It just shows, my mindset is right on the page of understanding these people. And I'm not patting myself on the rear end here because I never do that. But the video I recorded, which is you'll probably see before you see this one, okay, because I do my videos a day in advance before they go up. I can't do them in real time anymore. I can't get past YouTube's algorithms unless I give it 24 hours for them to manually review it, or the videos will get blocked. And I talked in that video about how every person on that stage was involved in some type of satanic sacrifice ritual and something involving children, and that's why they're getting their reward. And lo and behold, Macaulay Culkins sitting there, this guy who has been in the, so many people have called this guy out for so many different things. And yes, the voodoo donuts I get all that stuff, but I'm not making accusations against any of these places. I don't know what's going on. I can only tell you that all of these places that have been pointed out do use satanic occult symbols. And I don't believe in coincidences, but at the same time, you can't make accusations and claims against somebody without evidence. Okay? And you can't just use symbols to call somebody a sex offender. You just can't. It's not how it works. Can you be suspicious? Yeah. Should you be? Absolutely. Right? And same thing goes with Pizzagate. Regular heterosexual men aren't posting photos of children taped to tables or, holding pizza slices over their crotch, or sexual innuendos where there's pictures of little kids staring at grown men's rear ends in thongs, things like that. Right? There's nothing funny about it, but these people are so demented and sick, they get away with it because we live in such a society that is so open and accepting of everything. I mean, look how the tolerance movement has flown through the roof. Tolerance, tolerance, tolerance. Everybody's accepting of everything. Except what? Free speech for people like me and people like you who listen to this channel. Because it's offensive, the fact that we, would say that an event might not necessarily have gone down the way that the government says. Meanwhile, these are the same people who hear things about, 9/11 or JFK's assassination, and there's millions of books out there on JFK's assassination, and everybody has a theory other than the original explanation of what happened, right? And nobody's suspicious that the government never released the information on it, right? And they continue to delay releasing the information on it. Nobody's like, well, that's weird. Something shady must have happened. Yet when these other events happen involving schools and things like that, if we point anything out or question anything and just say, look, this doesn't make sense. Look, this person's connected to Freemasonry or the D-Malays. Look, these kids are all in these student film movies. Oh, they're here. They're actors. Oh, this or that. Right? It's hate speech. How dare you say something like that? But they want to take away the free speech of people like me and you because we're too close to the truth and we're too close to waking people up. So I wanted to do this rant because as soon as somebody, and I want to thank the person, I don't have their name open right now because I'm recording this, but you know who you are. Somebody wrote to check out Macaulay Culkin's Twitter feed. I appreciate it. I always appreciate when you guys send me stuff. Okay? I'm beyond grateful. I look at the emails. I read the stuff. I can't get back to everybody. You know, a lot of time goes into this, but I greatly appreciate it. And you can go through this guy's stuff. He's taking a bath. You know, he's doing the bath baptism. You know, to talking about eating babies, to talking about how it's not the first time. And don't say, oh, well, he's just referencing Roman Polanski. He's probably referencing every single person ever that's won an Oscar. And he's probably wondering why he hasn't got one yet. But I don't know if you're going to get an Oscar for The Good Son or for The Whiz Kid. I don't know what else he was in other than Home Alone. Which, I mean, we all grew up watching Home Alone. That's another story for another day. Okay, the guy's selling shirts, merchandise with the pentagram on it. These people are all networked and connected to each other. That's how they get put in these positions. All right? And listen, I don't want to hear anyone say, you know, oh, you talk about some of these celebrities because you're jealous or you want to be famous and things like that. I actually don't want to be famous. So I don't show my face. I don't want to be popular. But meanwhile, my channel gets more views than most of these people get on their Twitter accounts, on their Instagram feeds. These people are pushed in the mainstream. Some of my videos get more views than TV shows. So no, I'm not saying it for attention. I'm saying it to show you the repetition. And that these people think that they're clever by pointing all this stuff out and talking about these things, like The Rock talking about eating babies like it's a joke, and we allow them to get away with this stuff. We allow them to. Why? I don't know anymore why. Because we live in a weak, watered-down society where there are no men. Everyone's spineless. Or where women want to be men and men want to be women. Macaulay Culkin, folks. I mean, right in your faces, talking about this stuff like it's a joke. Yeah, well, we all know the truth about all of these people and their involvement in this stuff, and God sees everything. And I wouldn't want to be in their shoes on Judgment Day. Thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.